Hello, everybody, and welcome to the first episode of Unqualified. This is a Philly sports podcast hosted by myself, Angry Dave, and
Frank Genzano.
And it will be presented by the Angry Dave Network. We just created a network, Frank.
We did. Fantastic.
We will talk about Philly sports from a unqualified fan point of view, just like everybody else does. We'll hopefully have less screaming.
Yeah, the screaming doesn't work.
I do think that we are a little bit more qualified in an athletic standpoint than a person like Stephen A.
100%. But listen, Stephen A. hates the Cowboys, so he's kind of one of us.
Yeah, have you ever seen him throw a punch? Did you ever see that video?
Yeah, it was I saw a better punch thrown from that girl that had her window kicked in at City Hall
the other day.
Shout out to Nikki on that.
Yeah. Jesus Christ, dude. And yeah, so let's start, buddy. So what do we want to talk about first?
I mean, let's talk about what's hot right now. It's the Philadelphia Phillies.
Yeah, the Philadelphia Phillies are hot.
Game 1 was last night.
Yep.
We are minutes away from game 2. They're gelling right now, right? Everything seems to be working for them.
Yeah, and they seem to be built for this kind of environment for some reason. I guess some teams just have that kind of thing going for them. They aren't necessarily regular season teams, but when the big lights come on, they just perform better.
Yeah, and guess what? It's being home in this environment also helps too. I had the pleasure of going to a Braves game this year. I was down in Atlanta.
Yeah.
We're talking about the best team
in baseball.
And it was like at a morgue.
Yeah.
It wasn't like they weren't into it. They do something really cute, like what we do when their closer comes in. They shut all the lights off, and
right.
But every stadium now does that,
right?
But it wasn't like I didn't feel threatened.
Yeah. I mean, right.
I felt very comfortable.
Yeah, that was like going to a football game in Cincinnati. It was like, thank you for being here. Oh fuck! What, you want to fight?
Nothing about my mother? You don't want to say anything bad about my mother?
Yeah, I mean, so I was on a ride home tonight. I heard that the Tampa Bay Rays had, between the two games that they had at their park, had about 6,000 less fans than the Phillies had at their one game.
That they're also one game away from being eliminated.
Right.
So they started the season 13-0.
The Northeast in particular is just a different place for sports.
Well, think about it. So the AL East has 3 teams in the playoffs.
Right.
The NL East has 3 teams in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Can you name other teams that I mean, probably back in the day when McGuire and Will Clark, like that, and the Dodgers, like that was exciting baseball, like out west.
Right.
But it's always been Northeast dominated. And I'm actually sad to say this, like playoffs are different without the Yankees and the Red Sox in it.
They are. I mean, I agree with that. I mean, but you have huge rabid Yankees fans, Boston similar, Philly. Is there anybody else that compares though?
Baltimore. They kind of get shit on a lot.
Yeah.
Baltimore fans are passionate fans, but they're kind of forgotten.
Right, because they stink.
Well,
I mean, their teams generally,
yeah. Not the people,
right? No.
And that shitty accent that they have.
But you had the opportunity to go to the World Series game last year.
Oh, that was. So yeah, it's tickets right now are a little expensive. So getting to your point, you could have bought like second level tickets at the Tampa Bay Devil Rays game. You can't call them Devil Rays anymore. Tampa Bay Rays game for $22.
$22.
Standing room only tickets last night were $200.
Yeah.
Right.
Or like $300 for like lower level.
Lower level. Yeah. If unfortunately we're lucky enough, we're able to get retail tickets for tomorrow night if there happens to be a tomorrow night game. But
right.
We're a baseball family. That's kind of our thing. Like some people, some families are Disney families.
Right.
Some do like the Colonial Revival and stuff, which I don't get.
Yeah.
Like,
so we waited. I have 17 game plan. We waited like a day to try to get tickets, and everything was gone.
Yeah.
It was like 400 level, and I'm like, I'd rather watch it at home because I'm fucking high society bitch.
Yeah, I'm bougie, but I sat at the scoreboard porch last year.
Yeah.
For game 3 of the World Series,
Yeah,
which was the most electric game. I'm getting chills right now. Like
yeah, it was unbelievable.
it was loud, it was intense,
Frank,
and
I've been to, I've been to almost every NFC Championship game in the last 15 years. I missed one, which was the more recent, the one where they won the Super Bowl. I
yeah,
missed that world champion that NFC Championship game, but I was at every other one.
the Minnesota game.
I was at
You weren't at the Minnesota
I
game,
was not at the Minnesota
right?
game, but I was last year. I was there. I was there during the Donovan McNabb era,
Yeah, yeah,
and that Falcons game was incredible. But that Phillies game, by far the most electric. I've Bryce Harper hits that home run. It's the most electric I've ever felt ever at a sporting
yeah.
event.
Again, like I'm still getting chills,
Yeah,
and the fact that I had my wife and my two, I experienced that with my kids, my family
yeah,
meant the world. Like I don't even know what we paid for those tickets,
right.
right? But I'm never going to get that experience back.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
well worth it.
well worth. I mean, listen, they went to Bedlam at the Bank,
Right,
which was a phenomenal moment, right? A
right.
great home run.
Yeah,
I was on a plane back from, Ricky Lee's celebrating Ricky Lee's and Danny's birthday, their 50th birthday in postcard in Clearwater.
right.
Phenomenal. I highly recommend it, by the way. I since I'm bougie, like I upgraded to first class,
Mm-hmm.
and the gentleman I'm sitting next to is Asian, and I'm watching the game on YouTube TV, and it was the only time I've ever been threatened to be taken off the plane because I
Really?
was cursing and I was like yelling, and she came over. She's like, "Sir, you can't curse and yell like that." I'm like, "But I'm watching the Phillies game." They weren't a Philadelphia crew,
Right.
right? But this guy who's Asian said to me, "I don't know why you're so excited, but I'll be excited with you."
Is that what he said?
Yeah, and like like I would literally something good would happen. I would put my hand up. He would high five me. And at the point, like we were watching the game together, like,
That's
and we
awesome.
connected that way.
Yeah,
And he was asking me questions. He was like, "What's so important about this game? Like, where did the name the Philadelphia Phillies come from?" Like,
yeah,
he just didn't get. I think he's a Phillies fan now,
right.
actually. But I had the opportunity as soon as I got off the plane. I got my car. I met my family at Broad and Shunk.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah.
to celebrate.
So, why is sports so I mean, I don't know. We've never lived anywhere else really, right, in our lives. I mean, for any extended period of time.
Yeah, I mean Florida for a little
Yeah.
bit, but
Um, why does it mean so much here? Yeah,
yeah. So I think about that a lot,
yeah,
right? And it's just it's tradition that was passed down to us,
yeah,
right? Like I'm passionate about baseball because I was fortunate enough to live on the good side of Broad Street and have cable television where
my god.
I would watch baseball games with my father or my grandfather.
Right,
And it was kind of instilled in me to be a fan then, right?
right, right.
But that connection, that emotional connection, is memories of sharing those times with my father, my brother, my grandparents,
Yeah.
um, and then the Eagles, where I was kind of a different level.
On the bad side of Broad Street, you guys didn't like football, right? It was more like tiddlywinks and baseball.
Tiddlywink. I don't know. No, I mean, you mean the more dominant athletic side of Broad Street? Yes,
I mean, the ones that aren't going to prison for murder.
that was
Oh,
your side.
oh, that's right.
You
That's right.
you guys had more convictions. It was like entering a different universe at times. It's
It was.
like these people desperately need cable television. They need a hobby.
They need a hobby other than standing on the corner at 12 years old drinking 40s. Um,
I mean, that's probably the best answer I can give.
yeah,
It's people tie that fandom with family emotion or traditional
yeah.
emotions,
For
right?
now, it's two, three, four generations.
Yeah, yeah.
That's
We're,
probably right. And it's a working class town. Like people work hard, and they enjoy, letting loose and being captivated by, by something outside of themselves.
yeah, it's you're 17 game plan owner,
Right.
right? Why'd you buy that plan?
Yeah, I mean, because
Yeah,
I love being well, I'm a baseball guy too. I mean,
yeah.
I grew up, I love it. I still play it. I tried to quit and that worked out for 10
You
months.
went back?
Yeah, yeah. I went back. I only played one game because we got rained out for 3 weeks, but I went 3 for 3 with 3 RBIs and 2 runs scored.
Are you officially 45 and older or 35?
No, 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 I'm not. I can't do it.
Can't do it.
I can't go 35 and older. Still competitive, and it's a lot of former college players. You know that. And
Yeah.
but I can't do. I can't do. I don't think I can do the 45 and over. I mean, eventually I
Well,
will, but
congratulations on that.
I'm happy to be back.
What other great sports? I mean, because listen, that's. I mean, I was at Holidays
Yeah,
playoff no hitter. That probably should have been a perfect game.
right.
I was at the Eagles. I was at the Eagles, Atlanta Falcons
Yeah, me too.
NFC Championship game. That hit Brian Dawkins put on Algie Crumpler was
It's
crippling,
incredible. Yeah,
absolutely crippling.
I just remember the fourth quarter because it was pretty much we knew we were going to win because it was a kind of a blowout.
Yeah, celebration the whole time.
Just yeah, celebrate. I mean, literally people just dancing,
Yeah, yeah.
dancing, hugging. It was unbelievable, and it was so long and and coming right, and especially with that team because there had been so many disappointments. Was that the fourth NFC Championship or the fifth? I think it was the fourth.
Fourth. Yeah, because it was the Rams,
It was the Rams. It was Tampa Bay.
which was that game haunts me still.
Yeah, the Tampa Bay one was bad.
It was on my birthday.
That's the one that was probably the most disappointing, I would think,
Yeah,
because
last football game at the vet.
right.
Um,
And then the Tampa Bay they were winning the game. They come out gangbusters, and then just forgot to cover anybody across the middle of the
well,
field.
not only that, but I mean, get Gruden. It was Gruden, right?
Yeah, Gruden.
Gruden's game plan after he kicked the ball deep to Brian Mitchell, they stopped doing it.
Right.
Like that was our field position was horrible after that.
That's right. Joe
And
Garavicious.
that was the quietest I ever heard that building.
Yeah.
That I actually heard the Tampa Bay Buccaneers celebrating that that reception.
You remember walking home out of the stadium?
Yeah,
It was literally like a morgue.
yeah, it was horrible. It's still listen, still thinking about that game like on Christmas Eve.
And then the next one was the Carolina Panthers where McNabb got hurt in the
Mc,
game.
McNabb got hurt. We got our wide receivers got bullied by their cornerbacks.
I was so angry at that game. I used to have a David Akers jersey. Some poor, some poor, some poor security guard came and told me I couldn't stand in an area, which was he was just doing his job.
Job. Yeah.
But they were getting fucking beat, and I screamed at him and ripped my David Akers jersey off my chest like I was fucking Hulk Hogan.
What was that guy's response?
He he really just stared at me. He was one of the guys in the black. Like, he was a big dude
In the
too.
yellow shirt,
Like yeah,
event
no,
security.
yeah, the black like all in the
Oh,
black like the black suit like the fucking Gestapo dudes.
yeah.
He just stared at me and walked away. He's like he just like shrugged his shoulders. You, what is your little problem, little crazy man?
Was the jersey bought at Baby Gap? That's all I want to know. What was if you're able to rip that shirt off? Was it faltering? Was it malfunctioning in some places anyway?
You know I don't buy new things a
I
lot,
know,
so
right?
possibly.
Probably, definitely Goodwill special.
But I was just mortified and dejected with the Tampa game, but that I the visceral reaction I had to that Carolina game because they were so much better than
Yeah,
them. Like Tampa at least made sense a little bit, but I was so mad at that Carolina
and
game.
then 2008 we lost to Arizona.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, that one stunk, and that was like I don't know. I got just got weird because like I felt like we were never going to get
ever.
a Super Bowl.
And that's why that Atlanta Falcons one meant so much,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Um, because we never, we had the one run in 1980 and then nothing.
nothing. But I will say that I got married in 2005,
Yeah,
and I had the opportunity to go to that Super Bowl in Jacksonville.
really.
Yeah. I'm going to let you know right now. There's never a need. Should never feel a need to go to a Super Bowl.
Yeah, I
It's
agree
the
with that.
most corporate, like unseasoned,
Right.
like horrible, bland experience I ever had.
The only thing I would do is if it was at a cool location and I'm with some friends and we can go in a bar or something. I wouldn't want to.
I mean, I was with a friend, Aunt Feb. He got us the tickets.
Yeah.
We
No.
yeah, but like I
Well, why would you want to be in the state? Like, I guess anybody that the joy about being in the stadium for me is the ambiance and like that energy that you get with other fans that you're
right,
there with.
right.
Not, but a corporate event like that where nobody can afford a ticket.
Yeah, it was I and I remember like during the game saying like if we actually win, like I'd rather be in Philadelphia.
Yeah. So I was when the Phillies won the World Series in 2008.
Yeah.
I was that. Remember the game got split in half, right?
Yeah.
Because it was like snow, right?
Mhm.
But I was in the Florida Keys at a wedding at the first half of that game. I've never been so happy in my goddamn life that a fucking game got postponed.
I
I,
I woke my son up. Go ahead, go ahead.
no, it's another almost Dave fight that I got into.
Let me hear it.
I'm at my wife's cousin's wedding, right? Everybody from Erie, Pennsylvania or Ohio.
Yeah.
Ohio State game is on at the same time the Phillies game was. I'm watching the Phillies game on one of the TVs at the bar, right? This dude comes up, grabs the fucking remote, and changes the fucking game to Ohio State. I almost ripped his skull apart. I said, I don't know who the fuck you are, but you're turning. I don't know who the fuck you are, but we're not turning the game off.
Right.
He's like, well, tell you nobody cares about the Phillies. I do.
Right. It's a World Series.
It's World Series. I
It's a
do.
World Series. But again, to your point, where we live, like baseball matters, right?
Yeah, yeah.
You know, you're not turning on a college football game.
Never.
No. No.
Yeah, I
College
mean,
football's not that big here, unless you're a fraud Penn State fan.
yeah, right. That's right.
Or
When they're good. Yeah.
right. Or Notre Dame.
Yeah, Notre Dame. What is with you Irish people in fucking Notre
I
Dame?
don't understand. There's a couple Irish guys I know
Really?
that hate them.
I have not met an Irish guy that hated Notre Dame in my
Yeah.
life.
My brother-in-law, who's the salt of the earth, he's the sweetest human being ever,
Yeah,
is a Notre Dame fan.
yeah.
And because I'm supportive, I'll watch the games with them, but deep down inside, I'm secretly rooting against them.
I went to a tailgate in Notre Dame. We went out, a bunch of baseball guys went out together and went to Notre
I
Dame.
heard it's a phenomenal experience.
No, it was a pretty shitty tailgate.
Was it really?
The tailgates are not good.
Did you go to the game?
Yeah, we went to the game. Game was awesome.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, any big time college football game is an awesome experience.
Hmm.
I mean, because a lot of these stadiums, I was telling my kids the other day actually, is that a lot of like football players are used to playing in front of 100,000 people. Like
Right.
there's smaller stadiums in the NFL than they are in college. Like Penn State has 100,000 people
Yeah.
in it.
Yeah. Right. And
I mean,
that's
so Notre Dame might not have 100, but it's probably got 70.
yeah. And that's like the town. It's like Green Bay. The town shuts down when
Shout out.
there's a
Yeah,
Notre
so
Dame game.
it's an awesome experience to be in the stadium, but the tailgate was uh, not anything like an Eagles tailgate. I
Yeah.
can tell you that.
But getting back to that '08 Phillies World Series, so
Yeah,
yeah, the game's cut in half.
yeah,
Um, I've that's the first championship in a while
right.
that we kind of knew we were going to win that game because you have Bradledge coming in.
Yeah,
He's perfect throughout the season.
yep.
I have 11-month-old babies,
Oh man, yeah,
right? My
yeah,
son and my daughter.
that's right.
And
Yeah, my
my
son was too.
my daughter's a heavy sleeper.
Yeah,
My son's not. So I went up in the beginning of the ninth and I went and woke him up and I shared that experience with him.
yeah,
Like I held him and we celebrated together. And maybe he had some champagne poured on him accidentally. He probably maybe ventured down to Broad and Shunk with me to celebrate a little bit.
yeah.
Possibly had a baby celebrating with me in a corner bar to visit some friends. Almost got divorced, right? But my wife understood the magnitude of that
Yeah,
moment, right? Like how important that was to me.
yeah.
So she kind of let that slide.
So yeah, so I brought Jake down there at, it was on my shoulders, and that's pretty much the last baseball game he ever watched.
Really?
Now, well, my kids don't really, they're not into it.
Yeah. No. No. Does it bother you?
Um,
Did it used to bother you?
it used to bother. It doesn't bother me. You know what? You know what is? I think I'm more upset for them to not have that with their dad.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. But you guys have other things that you bond
Yeah, no,
over.
we
Yeah.
do, we do.
Yeah.
And maybe it changes as we get older. I don't know. Maybe they'll care about it. They do like going to games. They don't care about them.
Got it.
You know what
Yeah.
I mean? They don't. Like Jacob still doesn't know all the rules of baseball. I've played baseball for 40 years. Like I've I've coached at the high school level, right? Like, not that I'm a pro at it, but
Right.
I know a lot about it.
Yeah. No, yeah, yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And my kid doesn't even know every rule. So, which
Well,
is
in all fairness to Jake, there's a lot of guys that play baseball every day. They don't know the rules either.
yeah, we've been we've been on baseball fields. I'm sure you as a youth coach have been on plenty of baseball fields with dudes yelling out rules that are not true.
Not true.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that's not it. No.
Yeah. Or probably the best ejection I've ever gotten from a game. Right.
Yeah.
I'm down in Florida. I'm in a PG tournament. We're the baseball team's pretty good,
Yeah.
and guy made a bad call, and in between, and I didn't argue the call because you're not going to get anywhere. Right. Um, they're human beings. Right. They're there to do a job.
Right.
They make mistakes.
Yep.
So I go up to him shoulder to shoulder. I have my arms crossed. And I'm like, hey, what did you see there? He got like snippy with me. He got very defensive.
Yeah.
I was being curious. I wasn't being judgmental in my questioning. He told me, I said, well, respectfully, I disagree with you, but it's my fault for expecting a different answer from you because if you were any better, you wouldn't be doing my games. Gone.
Go on.
Go. Oh, he did like the hop
Uh,
shuffle and this and the
uh,
skip and said you're out of here, and then I got my money's worth. Like,
yeah.
yeah.
My favorite thing to say to umpires on the Sunday morning leagues is, "You're the only motherfucker getting paid here. Don't ruin my morning." One more thing out of you. Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's talk about last night's Phillies game because
It was. Yeah.
there was a couple missed calls.
The umpiring was not great.
No, no,
Especially the balls and strikes were not great.
no. And listen, I get it. There's movement and that box for the casual baseball fan to see that.
Yeah.
They can see that, but no one has a better view than the umpire behind the plate.
Yeah. The only defense I'll give to umpires is it is sometimes when you're standing behind a catcher, it is hard to see the low strike.
Yeah,
It is.
yeah,
So you can miss the low strike. You should not be missing the high strike,
never.
and you should not be missing the corners. You're literally lined up on the
Yeah,
corners.
but he was listen. Wheeler was painting,
Was
painting,
disgusting. Disgusting. Yeah, probably ran out a little bit of the gas at the end there. They took him out at the right time, I think.
which is surprising because last year
Yeah.
during the playoff run, I didn't have a lot of faith in him. I really the guy I had the most faith in was Ranger.
Right.
Yeah,
Well, yeah, I think that's right. But they pitched so many. I just think they pitched a lot of innings, over that last year or
yeah.
so.
Adding the sixth starter and giving them an extra day's rest, while it may have hurt their preparation, it mattered when it mattered most, right?
Yeah.
In the playoffs, and you saw his velo was up to 99. He had a ton of energy. You
Yeah.
know, uh, some of it probably coming from the fans.
I mean, it has to, right? I mean, I don't know how you're not affected by that.
No, when an opposing player says it's 4 hours of hell
Yeah.
to come in here, that should tell you everything. The difference between Philadelphia and the Atlanta Braves fan base.
Yeah, or Tampa well, Tampa's probably the worst fan base ever because nobody's really from there. That's the problem.
No,
Like they do well during the year because people go there to see the team that they love, not Tampa,
exactly.
right? And
Yeah,
now it's the playoffs, and
nobody's showing up.
nobody fucking cares.
No, I mean, but if I was Toronto or Texas Rangers,
Yeah,
Yeah,
Rangers. Yeah,
if I was the Rangers, I would probably want to go and visit. I mean, Tampa's nice. I mean,
yeah,
the beaches there are absolutely
it's
gorgeous.
beautiful. Yeah,
Yeah, it's way better than Dallas,
yeah. Dallas,
Fort Worth.
Dallas is an awful town. Like it's not. There's no fun there.
No, there's Six Flags.
Right.
There's Six Flags everywhere.
Right. Did
Mm,
you? I went there for a Sunday night Eagles game once, and there was nothing. It was literally like fucking blue law. Like there was nothing open on
yeah,
Sunday.
it's the suburbs and it's the Bible Belt.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of fun happening.
Yeah.
I will say this though, Texan women are a lot of fun. They're a lot of fun to hang out because it's like hanging out with the dude.
Right.
There's
Right.
a possum. I was in Dallas once. A possum ran into the bar, and the female bartender picked him up by his tail and threw him out. I've never been more turned on.
Yeah. So yeah, we were talking about ticket prices and how expensive they are for like the Phillies, and I had been talking to you about it and some other people. just how much bullshit I kind of think it is. They used to, well, they still do. They run people out of there for scalping,
Yeah.
and it is no different. It's all it is scalping on the internet that is approved by the Major League Baseball.
Mhm.
I mean, it just drives me nuts a little bit. Like they can't let the little man make any money.
No, it's not a game for the middle income people anymore.
Yeah,
It really, if it is, they have those games
right,
throughout the year. You
right,
can go in April.
right,
You can go in September.
right.
We bought 6 games at $20 each, so $80. We sat on the scoreboard porch.
Yeah,
We love baseball. We enjoy the game. I like to be up there.
right,
This is going to be a shock. I'd rather be up there to watch a game so I'm not distracted by the scoreboard, which is
right.
beautiful.
No, I hear you. Right, it's hard. It's
I want
hard
to
not.
watch the game.
It's hard not to be distracted. It
Yeah.
really. But what really pisses me off too is that it's for a Phillies game, it's $25 a park, and then you go in and you get one drink. It's $10.
No, it's not $10.
Oh,
16.
16. Okay.
A
Right. So like
Surfside is
a, a
$16.
soda is $10, right?
Soda's $10.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So even if you have two kids with you, it's you just $50
It
just to get them into the park.
Oh, if you have a 15-year-old son who eats like a moose, it's a $150
Yeah.
bill
Right.
at minimum.
And
You
again,
know,
you and I don't have anything to complain about, but we could afford it. But how does a regular person afford it?
yeah, it's tough.
Not that we're rich, but like, I mean, like,
No, it's tough. But it makes me thankful for owners like John Middleton that
right,
he's starting to he's got some big salary he's got to pay for,
right. I
right?
got it. Yeah,
But if you're two people, $40 for a ticket, it's not a bad night out. It's a
right.
very good product.
Yeah, but the Phillies stadium is like the most expensive stadium to buy food in.
Is it really?
Yeah,
Well, because that's Aramark.
yeah,
Because they're handcuffed by Aramark. So I know a couple food vendors there. It's not a good deal.
right.
It's they Aramark keeps 91%
Are you serious?
of the profit.
And it's all Aramark staff. Is that right? Is it just basically your name?
It's for
As
the most part, it's Aramark staff,
Yeah,
but you're keeping nine. It's advertising dollars, right?
right,
I love Campos. I love the Campo family at Second and Market. I highly recommend them. But that's marketing. That you could see the Campos sign
right,
from home plate
right.
on a lot of shots, and it's a national sign. They're at Second and Market. People go sightseeing that are out of town. They see Campos on the at CBP at Citizens Bank Ballpark, and they walk by and be like, "Okay, I'm gonna go get a cheesesteak
Yeah,
from Campos." I get the reasoning.
yeah.
The gouging is unbelievable.
Yeah, it's bad, and it goes with the ticket prices too, right? So you used to believe that it was illegal, like it's illegal to scalp. It's not illegal to scalp. It's against their rules,
Yeah,
right? And the fact that police officers would be a part of that civil contract, that bothers me too. Like we're literally police officers and L&I people are out, or licensed inspections people
yeah,
are out there fucking with people that are selling stuff on the side, because they don't have a license.
yeah.
They don't do that anywhere else. Dude, people do it on the fucking city blocks all the time.
All the time, and all those ticket sellers,
Yeah,
resellers are trying to make a few extra dollars,
right,
right? I'm a sneaker guy. You know
right.
that.
Yeah, yeah,
There's a big resale market for sneakers. It's
right.
no different.
It is no different,
It's
right?
no different.
So why do we have the law involved in protecting a multi-billion-dollar
Well,
corporation?
you know that answer because they can make additional money and they're lobbied and they're funded.
Right.
You
Yeah.
know,
And they're probably paying for the extra police presence, right? So that's probably right too.
probably right.
Yeah.
I don't think we're going to solve that problem
No, we're
tonight.
not solving a problem.
But can we
So
solve this problem? Our
what's that?
third base coach,
Whew, you had a rough night last night.
Dusty, had a rough night, and you don't see emotion like that from Kyle Schwarber ever,
Yeah.
ever. When he was held up like that and he was disappointed,
Right.
then he got Castellanos thrown out at home,
Yeah.
which I don't disagree with. You
No.
need to be aggressive.
Right. But he needed to be aggressive on the first one too.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the only thing I'll say. And then he was not aggressive on Bryce Harper, and Bryce Harper just
ran
said,
he ran through that like, "Hey, don't do anything nasty with my daughter on the prom night." Like, I ignored that sign too. I'm only kidding about
So
that.
what do we think the Phillies' chances are? I mean, I'm sure we both think that they get out of this round, right?
I think they get out of this round.
Then they got Atlanta.
They have Atlanta, and the the puzzling thing about Atlanta to me is how many home runs they've hit this year.
It's incredible.
It's video game numbers, right?
Yeah,
Have you paid attention to that at all?
yeah. I mean, don't they have like five guys with over 30 home runs or something like that?
It's ridiculous. Like, and guys that you don't think are hitting home, like Ozzy Albies has 20,
Yeah,
I
right.
think.
Yeah.
They're it's that's the only thing that scares me. I think our pitching's better. I think our bullpen is better. Um,
And there is something to be said. We do have something, or there's something going on in Atlanta that they can't win in the playoffs.
no,
There is something. I mean, they've had two World Series in their history, and they've been good forever, like forever, like they've been forever.
there's like 2 years. I think 12, 2012, 2013. They weren't that good,
Right.
but that was it. But
Yeah.
Matt Olson has 54 home runs. Ronald, he's probably one of
Well,
the best players I've ever seen play.
I think
Acuna.
Ronald Acuna is probably the best player in baseball right now.
Yeah, and it's well Otani,
Well, right.
but I mean he's got 41. Marcelo Zuna's got 40.
Yeah.
40. Austin Riley 37. I was wrong on all of these. He's got
Yeah.
33.
That's what I thought. I thought it was more than
Yeah,
30.
Sean Murphy who 21. Eddie Rosario. Who's Eddie Rosario?
Yeah. I don't know.
Exactly.
Some dude that used to live in fucking Port Richmond. I don't know.
The guy from Fifth and Shunk. Right. But one of my favorite players, Michael Harris, has 18.
Yeah.
He's a special player. He really is. 293, 255, 251, 280, 281, 274, 337, 283. That's the top 8 averages
Yeah.
on that team.
I mean, they're just legit up and down the lineup. There's no easy out, right?
No, no, their backup shortstop has 17 home runs.
Right.
Like that, it's
Yeah. I mean, I listen. Is Atlanta objectively the better team? I think they are.
st- by stats wise, they
Yeah.
are.
But can the Phillies beat them? I think that answer is yes.
I,
I think they proved it last year.
they need to steal one in Atlanta.
No question. If they win game one, they win the series, I think, because I think it's an emotional letdown, right? I mean,
Right,
I think that exactly what happened last year is they're like, oh shit, this again.
right. They're the only team that has the bye week.
Right.
Right. Um, that we're playing, obviously.
Right.
So there's something to be said for that downtime, and now you got to ramp it up again, and you got to ramp it up again against a team that just played an emotional series
Right.
and the probably, arguably, the best baseball city in the
It's
country.
it's the best baseball city right now.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, I think that New York or Boston could compare at times.
You mean the Yankees, not the Mets.
Not the Mets, no. Maybe the Chicago Cubs, something. You know what I mean?
Cubs
At times,
at times. Cubs, absolutely. St. Louis.
but it's the center. To be honest, I think it's the best fan base in sports right now. In,
Yeah, but
in in American sports, I don't know
in
though.
Americans, yeah,
Yeah,
because you have the Eagles.
yeah,
Obviously are doing well. They still need to find their groove. We'll talk about that, but
yeah.
it's getting back to the Atlanta Braves. It's they're facing a team who's emotionally charged,
Right.
and I don't think any team last year, other than Houston, advanced. Right, that had a bye.
That's right.
Yeah. So here's how I see this going. I think we beat Miami. I think it's 2 games and we're done.
Yeah.
Right. We kind of hit a small like little reset button. Um, we beat Atlanta in 6 games.
Or no, is it a five? Is it a 5 game series?
It's a 5 game. So we beat Atlanta in 3 games. Yeah, it's a 5 game series.
So
We
four.
beat Atlanta in 4 games. Thank you. And then I think it's LA. I think we're playing LA.
Yeah, and that's another tough team.
It's a tough team, but we match up really well with them. We really do.
Yeah.
Um, I honestly believe it's going to be rematch. I think it's going to be Houston and the Phillies.
Yeah, Houston sort of almost backdoored their way in again.
They backdoor their way in, but again, they're getting healthy at the right time.
Right.
They're gelling at the right time. And I'm here for it, man. I really am. I want that series.
Yeah, me too.
Um,
Yeah, I just think I wouldn't be. I guess I wouldn't be surprised if the Phillies lost either one of those series. I do think that they have the emotional edge over everybody.
yeah. Isn't it funny that every year that we've been in the playoffs, either St. Louis or Milwaukee or the Dodgers are always there too.
Right.
Right. Of course, Atlanta.
Right.
I just find that very interesting that when we're good, they're good.
Yeah.
And that's kind of created like a small little rivalry as
Yeah. Well,
well.
especially Dodgers, right?
Yeah, Dodgers. And guess what? Even Milwaukee when CC was there and
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
then he went over to the Yankees and how he was getting torched
Yeah.
when he was pitching here.
Yep. Yep.
So trying not to be a homer,
Right.
but I don't know outside of Atlanta who has a better 1 through 9 right now.
I don't think there's anybody.
No.
No. I mean, I think when they start Pache, he's pretty weak hitting. I love the center fielder. I love that kid.
Yeah, I mean he's special.
He's a special player.
Rojas is special.
Yeah. So maybe whoever's in left field may be weak a little bit at times, but who else?
Right? But
I mean,
that
Kyle Schwarber can't hit 200, but but he's still a problem because I mean he can hit the ball 450 feet.
no, but he's
And
built for this, right? He's built for the
well,
playoffs.
he is a different player in the playoffs for some reason. You know,
It's not it's the same thing that Carlos Ruiz was a different hitter in the playoffs,
yeah.
right? It's just heightened emotion.
And I think part of it too just makes it difficult not being a homer is that they're so fucking likable. They're so
Oh,
likable.
listen, the daycare.
Yeah,
I saw a meme today that there's like different sections, like
yeah,
the Dirty Boys, and it had like Stott and Marsh,
yeah,
right? And it had the hot Latinos, and it had Castellanos,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Right. It's there's not the backup catcher is the most likable guy,
Yeah, right.
you
He
know.
is. He's
Uh,
not going to play a fucking inning. Oh, yeah.
no, no, but he might pitch run. He's
Right.
shockingly
Yeah,
fast.
both of those guys. Who
Yeah,
has fast catchers? We have two of them.
the last fast catcher I could remember was Jason Kendall.
Jason Kendall. I was going to say
Yeah.
that. Yeah. Um, but is there ever been an athlete more than Bryce Harper, like better than Bryce Harper, that just gets Philadelphia and get Jason Kelsey would be the only other one that I can think of.
Yeah, but I'm going to say this. I don't think it's even close.
Yeah.
I think it's Bryce Harper 1, Jason Kelsey's 1A,
Yeah.
and then I don't think you can name another athlete after that.
No, I mean, there's a lot of guys that people love, Brian Dawkins of the world and
But
stuff.
does they don't get the city. They don't get the fabric of the city,
Yeah,
right?
like Brian Dawkins was a humble guy, like a very religious guy, like not like a salt of the earth dude. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
a little bit different, but people loved him. I'm not trying to minimize that, but these guys just get this. They just get it.
Yeah, it's
I mean,
so
Jason Kelsey he shows up at fucking Irish bars in fucking Wildwood. So I mean,
flip-flops.
or no, not Wildwood, whatever.
Um, Sea Isle.
Seattle,
Sea
yeah.
Isle.
But
Yeah, and guess what? I love his podcast. I
yeah,
love hearing him.
yeah.
His
I mean,
brother's a tool.
his brother's a fucking
I
tool.
can't do it. Like I
I
tried to
fu-
like him.
I'm glad you said that. I can't take the fake black accent thing that he's got going on, whatever the fuck that is. You know what I'm talking about? It's true. It's true. He's trying to be a brother. Like it's annoying.
Did you watch the series, The Quarterback on Netflix?
I I I started to watch the first episode, and this is the truth.
Yeah,
And I really wanted to watch it because I really like the kid from Minnesota. He seemed like
Kirk Cousins.
he seemed like a nice guy.
Yeah,
I felt bad for Mariota, but fucking Mahomes annoyed the fuck out of me from the beginning.
unbelievably unlikable. I don't
Like
know if people like him now.
he's petulant, like he's
Yeah,
like a child. Listen, he's an incredible athlete, and I'm sure he's a nice kid, but he's like a child, and I just wanted to punch him and then get my ass kicked. But I mean, but no,
no,
I didn't really watch it.
I didn't think that series did him any help. Right?
Yeah,
I don't think it did Jason.
Travis.
I don't think it did Travis any help as well. Like this is shit that listen, the Super Bowl parade thought they acted like tools.
Yeah.
I thought they acted like guys that are extremely unlikable.
Right. Yeah.
Um,
Frat boys.
the SBs, like everything that I've seen them together on,
Yeah.
I disliked them even more and more. It had nothing to do with me losing, us losing the Super Bowl,
It,
us, the Eagles losing to them to the Super Bowl.
the thing that I do like the most about Travis Kelsey is that he is going out with a she demon, and he will get beat by her.
Yeah, she's gonna break them.
She'll break him,
She's gonna
and
break them.
hopefully it happens. I don't know, in December,
Maybe January.
January, February.
Yeah, and carries over to a bender in
That
Vegas.
that woman is 150-0 against the that
She's like,
she does not lose.
she's like the IRS. She can't beat the IRS.
Uh, but
Oh
but
man.
I know you don't want to comment on my comment about the him trying to brother it out, but he is, and it fucking annoys me. He's a fucking like a suburban Ohio dude. Like, cut
Yeah,
it out,
don't
bro.
like listen, I get it. You don't have a lot of culture from
Yeah,
where you grew up.
yeah,
Don't vulturize somebody else's culture.
right. His brother doesn't do it at all. Jason,
Jason.
not that guy at all.
No, no.
But the only thing that makes Travis a little bit endearing is how much it's obvious that his brother loves him. You know what I'm
Well, he's the
saying?
older brother.
He's his older brother.
He's the
Yeah,
older brother.
I know.
And younger brothers are always kind of like the
Yeah,
head cases and they're always the wild
you know,
child.
you know anything about that? You
I
know,
do. I do actually.
I,
my, my brother, older brother was very likable, and I am a love it or leave it kind of guy, right? I have relationships ended, friendships ended just based on like sentences I said to people. So I get it.
I know. Well, I'm probably going to be fucking. I got 2 sentences in this podcast already. That's probably getting me excommunicated from the
Going to be
world.
a great edit session for you. Remember, unqualified people. We're unqualified.
Unqualified humans.
Speaking of unqualified humans, James Harden.
Uh, Listen, as much as unlikable as he is as a human being, or as a Philadelphia 76er, it's not his fault. Like, I mean, I can't blame him. They know who he was. I mean, he ran himself out of now 3 teams in a row.
Yeah,
He couldn't make it work with 2 Hall of Famers. I mean,
yeah,
it's all about him, and I get that the Simmons thing. We had to do something, but they had other options and they should have used. But they're just so bad as an ownership group. It's hard for me to care about them right now.
yeah. Talk about people who don't get it,
Yeah,
right? That organization absolutely doesn't get it. You're going to build an arena where you're going to tax the public services there, right?
right, right,
Between police and fire and ambulance. You're going to put it in a neighborhood that's already challenged
and doesn't want it.
and doesn't want it. The Chinatown, the Chinese Asian community there does not want it at all whatsoever. It's going to bring more unwelcomed visitors that they don't want to deal with and additional parking
And
problems.
and you're gonna have to move infrastructure, by the way.
Yeah,
So that they I know.
historical infrastructure.
So SEPTA, like for instance, SEPTA has a whole train system underneath the ground there.
Yeah,
That's not uh, unimportant,
no.
and it's going to have to be considered. So
Oh, and there's something to be said for our sports complex down here in South Philadelphia too.
it is,
It's phenomenal.
and
Like
it's unique, right?
it's unique. There's nowhere in the country where you can go watch all 4 sports, all 4 major sports.
Right.
I still haven't been to a Union game, but I do want to go.
I actually been. It's actually fun.
Yeah, I heard that.
Um,
I want to be a son. I want to be an honorary member of the Sons of Ben.
you know that I'm going to uh, uh with the World Cup qualifier match next week.
Are you really?
Mexico, I know, is playing. I don't know what the fuck they're playing. My buddy Minos asked me to go, so I'm gonna. Yeah, I'm gonna go.
Oh, nice.
So
But there's no other complex like that.
no, and actually now, like we always had the complex our whole lives, but now there's actually shit to do down there too.
Like fun shit.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
there's a casino across the
Mm.
street.
Live,
There's a lot. Yeah,
Xfinity,
right.
Xfinity Live.
Xfinity Live. There's a bunch of shit. You don't have to even leave the complex.
There's the lakes.
The lakes.
Go
That's a FDR Park for those not from the neighborhood.
FDR that's getting $1 billion renovation.
Is it really?
It's getting a big renovation.
Are they? They were supposed to build a bunch of shit in there. Are they? Or are they just
They
like?
are. They
Are
are.
they?
Yeah, they're slowly building it. If you haven't been down there lately,
Nah, not in a few months, I guess.
yeah, they're starting it.
Cool.
Yeah,
So what do you?
they're so they're not in touch with the fan base here.
No.
And speaking of fabric, right, of who they are, the Flyers lost that too. They
Yeah.
really did.
Well,
They lost their identity.
I mean, they really did. Hopefully, they're taking a step back in the right direction with some pretty likable. Well, one likable guy. Keith Jones is a pretty likable dude.
Are you kidding me? He's awesome.
Right.
Jesse's awesome.
Right.
Right.
So hopefully, hopefully that Briere, pretty well like when as a player. I don't know him anything else, but I mean, Jones has been radio personality for years now.
A pretty
Every
good one too.
Yeah, and everybody loves him. So that's a good step in the right direction, I think.
Yeah.
Them getting rid of all those bad contracts and starting over is probably the right thing to do.
Were you a big hockey guy growing up?
Growing up, I was huge, yeah,
Yeah.
because you remember like at our time, early '80s, they were good,
They were real. I mean, and you had some really likable guys,
right?
Peter Zezel.
Yeah,
Um,
like '87 when they lost, they took Edmonton, the Gretzky slash Mark Messier Edmonton Oilers to Game 7. They were down
yeah,
3-0, went to Game 7. That was basically, I'm 10 or 11 years old. That's my introduction to hockey. So I loved it.
loved it. Yeah.
And people might not know this, but Philadelphia was a huge like roller hockey place
Hmm.
forever.
Street hockey.
Street hockey, yeah,
Yeah.
street, but we would play on like four wheels and then it was inline skates later, but
Yeah, four wheels and a net in the middle of the street,
yeah,
and then you would have to stop the game because a car came up, and even though everyone had eyes,
yeah.
you felt the need to yell car. Yeah,
Car.
car. Right. Um,
But it was like a huge hockey. Then we always had a rink down here too, Rizzo rink, and but we had like huge like roller hockey leagues.
yeah, the midget leagues, like the midget teams, gladiators, the
Yeah.
little Phillies, stuff
Yep.
like that.
Yeah.
Um, I had a sad moment a couple weeks ago. I have a foursome. I'm playing a foursome in a charity event, and we pull up to a threesome, a
Yeah.
par three.
I thought this was a sports podcast.
We pull up to a par three,
Yeah.
and Brian Prop
Uh,
is at the hole, and I'm over the moon happy,
yeah.
right? Because I'm a fan,
Yeah.
right? And he's got a cigar. He's got a cigar company. Really good cigars, by the way.
Yeah.
He's bare. I loved it. He's barefoot, and he's like, "Hey, here's the deal. You guys are automatically going to get a par here, but I'm going to take a shot with you guys. You can either play my shot, or if you have a better shot, you could take that shot." And he hit a immaculate shot.
Really?
Yeah, it was probably like 10 feet from the hole.
Did you even shoot?
Oh yeah, we shot. We
Okay.
shot. Somebody got closer.
Really?
So we get in. Nobody knows who it was. Nobody knew who he was. The guys I was with.
Yeah.
We get to the green. They go putt. And they're like, "Who the fuck is Brian Prop?" I'm like, "Are you serious?"
Jesus Christ! How old were these people? Are they younger at
No,
least?
37, 38, 41.
Oh,
Like, you really don't know who Brian Prop is? Like,
dude, Brian Bob,
I mean, come on, goof off,
Goofa.
goof off.
Yeah, I mean, I love hockey growing up, but they've been so bad for so long, man. And again, they wouldn't remember with the old guard that wouldn't get any European players. They didn't
Yeah,
want any Russians. They missed out on that whole boat.
yeah.
And it just, then they tried to be like the Broad Street Bullies again, and it's just not that type of
What
fucking.
Leclaire and Lindros. I loved
Yeah,
Lindros. I love
listen,
watching him play.
he just had a fucking baby melon for a head.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Uh,
Hanging out in bars in South Philadelphia
Yeah,
with guys you shouldn't be hanging out with.
there's some stories there to tell.
Oh, I know. Not our stories
Not
to
ours.
tell.
No, no, no.
No,
We won't be telling them.
no, but it was they lost their identity. It's a blue collar city. It's a
Yeah,
tough city.
yeah,
We like tough people. We identify with them.
right.
Like this is a city. Remember, roller derby,
I do.
right? Like that was popular because it was tough. It was
Right.
what tough,
Yeah,
even though it was fake. It was like wrestling. It was tough
yeah,
to watch,
right.
right? They just lost their identity,
Yeah,
and I'm sad about it. I really am.
it's not. Yeah, I mean, it's not fun to watch. I mean, it's just not.
Yeah.
I want to be back into it, and I mean, I'm gonna try to give it a chance, but I don't know if this is the year because they're gonna stink again. But
You know who's actually gonna probably get me back into it?
what's
It's
that?
Marissa.
Really?
She was like, "There's a Flyers game on. Can we watch it?" I'm like, "Yeah, we'll watch it. Let's watch it." It was an exhibition game.
Yeah.
She watches more sports with me than Nikki does.
Really?
Nikki wants to play the sports.
Right.
We'll watch baseball, and it's a different.
I was the same way. I was more Nicky.
Yeah,
I other than football, I loved watching football growing up, but I didn't watch a ton of baseball. I wanted to go out and play.
yeah. I'd rather be playing too when I was younger.
Yeah.
Um, but that's our bonding time, her and I.
Yeah.
Like
It's
she knows
awesome.
I enjoy it.
Yeah.
But she's probably gonna get me back involved in hockey.
Yeah. I ask my kids often if you want to come down and watch like the Phillies game or Sixers or the Eagles game,
Yeah.
and they're like, "Yeah, no, I'm good."
You want to borrow Marissa?
No, because you'll probably have me doing shit
She,
for her.
Dave, I would like wings now,
I was like,
and you would run and get her one. I'm driving home last night. I got picked Nikki up from
yeah,
baseball practice.
yeah,
She called me. She's like, "Dad." I'm like, "Hey, baby, what's up?"
yeah.
She was like, here's what's up. Cookie dough, and we don't have any.
Uh-huh.
I'm like, all right, I'll stop at the Acme and get cookie dough, and I got her a vat of cookie dough.
Frank, I'm pretty sure that your daughter could call me for cookie dough. I think that's how much ability she has. It's of
It's a it's a hidden ability.
it's right.
She's so likable,
Yeah.
and she's going to get you to do what you don't want to do.
No.
Dave, can you carry this bag for me?
Sure.
Sure.
Sure. 10-year-old. It's like an ounce.
Right.
Okay.
But she was so proud that she got you to do it, and you were so mad at yourself for doing it. You really were.
It's funny.
All right.
Yeah.
I want to end on the Eagles.
Okay.
You know, it gives me so much joy that other teams are attempting the brotherly shove play
Yeah. Yeah.
and they can't do it. They can't execute it. The only team that can execute it is the Eagles.
And they're so mad they want to outlaw it.
You can't outlaw something that only one team could do,
Right.
which is a legal play,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
Some idiot on Twitter or X or whatever it's called was making the argument about how it's not legal to do it on punt returns, right? Or field goals. Well, and this is a former player. I'm not going to call him out, but the difference is the center's head isn't it's unprotected,
Right.
and that you have to protect the center's head there.
Right.
That's why you don't do it from a defensive standpoint by pushing your players to create a wedge to block the kick.
Right.
Um, the center's head's up here. They're up,
Right.
and it's one of the most disrespectful plays when they ran it twice back to back.
That's amazing. And you know it's
And you
coming.
knew it was coming. You
Yeah.
can't stop it.
It's amazing.
And so it's a great play. I love it. I
Yeah.
love that other teams can't execute it.
Yeah.
I even love it more that beta men like Chris Sims
Oh, fuck him. Yeah.
is calling for defensive players to hurt our quarterback.
Yeah. Right.
And Mike Florio was like, just want to be clear, Chris said that, not me.
Right.
It,
And Chris doesn't really mean that. He remember he said this. He said,
no, he was like, no, I do. Maybe I do. Like
uh,
the guy tried to get you out of it.
yeah, I want to kill him. You don't mean kill him, right, Chris?
He's like, well, maybe I do. Yeah.
Fucking idiot.
I've never seen someone so jealous of another man's success
Oh yeah.
like that. Now, listen, you're going to have bonehead moments like Rodney Harrison had Monday night talking about Zach Wilson.
Right.
So Chris Jones, I don't know if you saw, Chris Jones was being interviewed post game, and he's basically calling Zach Wilson trash.
Yeah. I mean, I have it's my problem with a lot of this sports talk or whatever. That's why I kind of want to do it like whatever. We're just talking,
Yeah,
but let's let's all calm down. Like it's the Screaming A. Smith
yeah.
version.
Hot takes.
The fucking hot takes, yeah, the Skip Bayless of the world that's got to make these outlandish things where he's fucking talking football with Shannon Sharp, who actually played it,
Yeah,
and then calling him an idiot. Can we ever listen? You can have everybody likes talking sports, and you have an opinion, but trash, he's trash.
you can't call a professional athlete trash.
Yeah,
You know how hard it is to play professional sports.
I mean, everybody that is playing professional sports was the best of the best of the best.
Hmm.
They're the top 1%.
Yeah,
They will beat you in everything that you do, everything in an athletic way.
unless you want to race Alshon Jeffries at a after hours club in a parking lot.
Well, whatever.
That was me.
Did he actually race you?
No, he wouldn't. He
He
wouldn't
would,
man
right?
up.
Of
He
course he
wouldn't man
would.
up.
What did he have to win?
Nothing.
Right,
Nothing.
right. That's why. That's why
But I
people.
challenged him.
That's why people never want to fight angry little Dave because
No, no, because the confidence level, right? It's all about the confidence level.
it's like it won't. It's either I get beat up by the tiny fat guy, or I beat up the tiny fat guy.
Yeah.
What's so? How do I win?
Either I beat the middle average fat guy in the parking lot,
Right,
or I lose to him. I'm supposed to beat him,
right,
but what happen? What maybe happens if he trips,
right,
right? And I win the race. By
right.
the way, I would have been unbearable.
Oh my god!
Unbearable. I would like his. I would have gotten
You would
beaten
have
up.
went on if there was no Facebook Live at the time. I'm sure, but the you would have went on Facebook Live.
Facebook Live was a thing back then.
Oh, it was.
I would have went literally, and it would have been the topic of every conversation for 6 months. Hey, did you hear about how I beat Alshon Jeffries in a race in the After Hours Club?
So, oh wait, one topic I want to hit on before we stop: are the Eagles underachieving? Because that's all you hear on Philly sports talk radio right now.
I did 4-0. How can you underachieve at 4?
I
Like the expectations is great
Yeah,
that you have such high expectations that they're 4-0. I the Commanders had but it's really hard for me to call them Commanders, by the
yeah,
way.
the Commandos.
Yeah. Um,
That's
they
what
had
I
a good
go
game
every.
plan.
And by the way, the Eagles overcame like 10 penalties,
Yeah, a lot of
a
penalties.
lot of penalties, right? So, but again, and it's also they're all professional football teams.
Yeah.
No game is really easy,
No,
right?
no. Again, you're talking about the best of the best of the best.
Right,
They also have a coaching staff
right,
that they had the same hours. They're putting a game plan together
yeah,
and they're working on executing it.
yeah,
Um, that guy's not a phenomenal quarter. He's an NFL quarterback.
yeah,
He's not a phenomenal quarterback. He looked like Joe Montana,
yeah, right. Well, we also had like three guys in the defensive backfield that were hurt,
hurt and playing 10 yards off the wide receivers.
right?
So I think its game plan needs to be adjusted. You have
Sure,
two new coordinators.
yeah,
You also, as much of a beast Jalen Carter is, well, the Eagles lost some really key defensive players.
right,
Um, put new rookies or second year guys in that position
right.
for them to execute,
Well,
and they're still 4-0.
they're 4-0, right?
Like, I get it. Jalen is adapting to the new game plan, a new coordinator.
Well, he was pretty awesome yesterday. I mean, or Sunday, whatever. He was,
Phenomenal.
yeah,
Yeah, he had a little bit of a scary first half, but come on.
yeah. I mean, but some of those throws, by the way, were just incredible.
Do you have any more concerns about his arm strength or his?
So what? How about that? How about that was a thing?
It was a thing.
It was like he was not going to be able to. He didn't have the arm strength.
Th-
There's no. There's. I see no evidence of that whatsoever.
No, and as much as I love our fan base,
Yeah.
dopes at times. Like they were calling for Russell Wilson. They would have
Oh,
much rather remember that
yeah.
they wanted Russell Wilson
That's right.
instead of Jalen.
And he's another kid that just grinds, man. He just works
Yeah,
and works. I mean, he doesn't have the greatest personality in the world, but he's a quiet guy, but he just gets it though.
yeah.
He's never going to be a Donovan McNabb. He's never going to blame somebody else.
No, I love the accountability aspect, and
Yeah.
I love how he's a leader,
Yeah.
and he holds his players like you went right up to AJ Brown, and I get it. You were battling with that rookie,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
You should have won every 50-50 ball.
Right.
It was a battle. Like
Right.
I watch matchups like that, right?
Yeah.
It was chippy, it was ugly. That was an emotional play, dropping the ball at his feet. You got to be the better person. You got to be the professional.
Right.
Know where you are in the game.
Yeah. And it really affected the game. When he got you're saying the celebration penalty.
The celebration penalty,
Yeah. I mean,
which could have cost them the game, and rightfully so. The Eagles probably should have lost that game.
oh, they should have. Yeah.
Right, the Commanders should have won for 2. They would have gotten it, and the game would have been over.
Yeah. I mean, and they just have way too many penalties. I mean, some of those pass interference calls were fucking pretty phantom, but um, you know,
There's some calls. Listen, it's
I
the
don't.
officiating in NFL football is probably the worst out of four major sports.
I don't understand what a penalty is. That's my problem. Is I don't always know what a penalty is.
Yeah. Here's the problem. So I think you know my family's background with football officials,
Yeah,
right? It's more political than it is putting the right guy who's the most qualified.
that's right. Right. Yeah, I mean, yeah. Well, it's again the umpire that Bryce Harper almost.
Angel Hernandez.
How is he still in the Major League
He
Baseball?
missed half the season with a back injury, and he still had the lowest grading of any umpire.
How's he still an umpire? Like that
Uh,
doesn't make
they
sense.
have a strong union. They really do.
Right.
But yeah, you're right. I don't know.
Right. There's certain guys like I don't even again I don't know what pass interference is. I mean I do you know what I mean? I've been watching the game my whole life. I
Right.
can pick it out, but sometimes it exists. Sometimes it sometimes it's like fucking phantom.
Sometimes it doesn't.
Yeah.
Quick score update: Texas Rangers won 7-1 today.
So they move on.
They move on. Um, this is a team I'm watching a lot. Toronto Blue Jays. I like them. I
Yeah.
really, even though fuck Joe Carter,
Yeah.
fuck Joe Carter.
That was a miserable
But
1993.
again, he's doing his job. Minnesota Twins, 2-0, beat Toronto today.
Really? So
Yeah,
they move on, right?
they move on.
Yeah,
That's
I'm surprised by that.
the coach is local. Schneider's a local guy. Well,
Yeah.
from Monmouth.
Yeah.
They have a local. I don't know if you know this. They have another Schneider, Davis Schneider, on Toronto Blue Jays, local kid,
Really?
South Jersey product.
Well, Christian Walker, huh?
Christian Walker
Christian
in
Walker.
Arizona. There's a lot of good baseball players here. There's a lot of
Christian,
good
well,
athletes here.
Christian Walker played where?
Was he a McDevitt guy?
Yeah, I mean he was. Yeah, he was like a local private school kid, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Not he wasn't a Catholic league kid, was he?
McDevitt's Catholic
Oh, he
league.
is.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
Um,
But he's the real deal.
yes. It's also pretty a little long in the tooth,
Yeah,
isn't he?
he's
33, 30, 31.
I guess. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm an old man. I don't know. He feels like he's 10 to me. Huh?
But the Toronto, that's an upset. I think Minnesota beating Toronto like that.
Well, yeah, Minnesota's not good, really.
No. The Tampa Bay being eliminated. Upset.
They were so good at the beginning of the year.
I know. I know. The only team left in the AL East is Baltimore now.
Yeah, I root
Um,
for Baltimore. I would love to see Baltimore.
so if I had to pick a second team,
Yeah,
probably would be those Scabs. Even though I hate their people's accents. It's almost like a Southern Delco accent.
yeah, it's a bad one.
It's a bad one.
And but they did bring back the beautiful looking park.
Yeah, they started that trend.
Yeah, they did. Then
Speaking of, how many other parks in the country have you been to?
several, I don't not a lot.
Yeah. Is anything prettier than Citizens Bank Ballpark?
No, I mean Baltimore's pretty. I like it. The aesthetics cool.
Hmm.
PNC Park's pretty nice though too.
Yeah. Well, just the whole backdrop of that, right?
Yeah, the backdrop is,
Yeah.
but the park itself, I don't think anybody's any better.
No.
But that PNC that area, I do like the whole little. It's like its
Walking over
own.
the bridge,
Yeah, it's
right?
its own little area.
Yeah. So if you could kind of build that around our sports complex,
Yeah,
it would be second to none,
I agree
right?
with that. Yeah.
Um,
And then Boston sort of just being in the middle of a town is weird and cool.
so Boston's the nostalgic of it is
Yeah,
awesome,
right,
right? You don't realize how uncomfortable the seats are
right. I
until
saw.
you sit there and you're supposed to be watching the game, but your seat is centered towards left center field and you're
Oh, really?
sitting on the third base side.
So I was just there. I was never in the stadium. Like I never saw a game there.
Okay. By the way, it's um Hendon at the bottom of the first, nothing, nothing. Phillies, nothing. Marlins, nothing.
Headed to the bottom of the first.
Yeah. Yeah. You got Schwarber, Turner, Bohm, Harper, Real Muto, Castellanos, Stott, Pache's back,
Pache's back because there's a lefty,
a lefty, and Rojas.
and Noah's on the mound.
Knowles on the mound through being efficient, 15 pitches, 10 strikes, 2 strikeouts.
That's beautiful.
That's the guy. That's the Noel I want.
That's a beautiful
I
start.
don't need him to turn into a pumpkin by the 5th inning.
I think I'm going to release this podcast when we get off unedited. How you feel about that?
I feel like I might have to go find a new job.
All right, I guess I'll release it tomorrow.
Unqualified with Dave Magaldi, the angry guy, and the unemployed Frank Genzano.
The soon to be unemployed Frank. You like selling houses? Fuck you.
This was fun.
All right, man.
Hey, let's do when we come back.
Yeah.
Let me tell you some locker room stories from the Buddy Ryan era because I had the privilege of being in that locker room.
All right, and then we'll talk next time. We'll talk about our 5 best 5 non-championship moments in Philadelphia.
Yes.
And 5 worst disappointments in Philadelphia.
Done.
All right.
Done.
All right. Till next time, we're out.
Out.